West Virginia Division of Highways construction projects incorporate many important contract documents and reports. These reports culminate with the assembly of the final estimate package that, once submitted and approved, signals the closure of the project physically and financially. Standard contract documents for every project include project plans and the contractor's proposal, which may include the special provisions that are specific to the contract. A pre-construction conference meeting will be held on each project following the award of the contract. Invited attendees will include the West Virginia Division of Highways staff or consultant staff, the contractor, and representatives on behalf of materials, environmental, labor compliance, EEO or DBE, utilities, and right-of-way. Involvement will depend on the size and scope of the project. Notice to proceed is normally given to the contractor at the conclusion of this meeting as long as the contract, contract bond, and insurance have been approved and the contract is fully executed. Project documentation is one of the most important aspects of the project finalization process. Daily work reports are entered daily to record the contractor hours, staff, and operations performed on the project. Pay quantities are documented and justified on these daily reports. Project staff must follow the West Virginia specifications for payment of items on a project, such as mobilization. The West Virginia Division of Highways has many standard forms that aid in the documentation process. Traffic control devices are accepted by submitting an ST1 and including a letter specific to the project that certifies that devices meet the 715.9 specification. Traffic control devices used on a project must be maintained and checked daily. This is an example of a template within the records management system that should be completed daily to check and document that safety is being monitored regularly. Project record keeping is a must for efficient project finalization. One way to track pay quantities on a project is to run a daily pay quantity by line number report with remarks. This will give you complete details on what has been paid to date. This report can be generated for any specific time period and allows checks to be made on pay quantities and proper documentation. District check findings are regular reviews performed by the final section of the daily project reports after each estimate. Any discrepancies found should be corrected by the project personnel immediately. There are various methods of materials acceptance and all require the proper documentation and corresponding lab number for approval. This is an example of a detailed sampling checklist. It details the materials acceptance method for each applicable item on a project. Discrepancies indicate there is missing information and the item has not been fully certified and approved. Depending on their acceptance methods, some materials used on a project will require that samples should be generated in the project management system for tracking and approval purposes by the respective District Materials Division or MCS&T. Project personnel can track the status of material samples by running a contract sample listing report. Once a project has met the requirements to be considered substantially complete, a report can be generated in Site Manager. This is to stop any liquidated damages from being assessed to the contractor. Arrangements should then be made to have a final inspection of the project. The project supervisor shall complete a contractor's performance report for each project. This report allows the supervisor to rate the contractor and any subcontractors on project-related aspects such as their workmanship, coordination, and relationships. The contract completion report documents that after final review, the district finals section has determined that all reports and work items are complete on the project and the final adjustment change order has been signed and returned to the contractor. There are specific reports that should be included in the final estimate package that the district office manager in the final section compiles and sends to contract administration for final approval and closeout of the project. The final estimate package contains a checklist of requirements for acceptance. Its transmittal indicates the project is ready for final processing. The district office manager and finals section work with the project supervisors to ensure project documentation is correct and up to date. Change orders should be generated upon approval and documented and paid accordingly. Documentation for pay quantities should be accurate and estimates paid in the cycle indicated. The estimate report is the final estimate that details the final estimate payment per line item, if any, and the total payment amount made to the contractor. It includes the contract information and all important dates on the contract. The final estimate report also includes the summary of any additional payments or penalties, such as liquidated damages or adjustments for asphalt or fuel. The reservation of right clause is the signed and sealed approval by the contractor to accept the final estimate as full and complete payment and settlement for all sums, claims, and monies due or owed for the given project. Unresolved issues and delays in receiving this signed document back from the contractor delay the project finalization process. Contract documents also included in the final estimate package include the notice to proceed, the contractor starting notice, and the change order status report. All change orders should be fully approved and completed prior to the end of the project. Additional required documents in the final estimate package include verifications of final inspection, material certification, and payment of taxes. Once a final inspection is made on a project, any deficiencies found will be placed on a punch list of corrective work to be performed by the contractor. Once the punch list of items has been corrected, a final inspection report can be generated. Once materials are finalized and accepted on a project, they can be pre-certified by the Materials Division. Once all the material certifications have been verified, the Final Material Certification Form, or MC8, is sent. Completion of this form means that every item placed and paid for on the project has been certified and verified. The final document that completes the final estimate package is the BF 150 form. This form is crucial to the close of a project in terms of the budget and financial aspects and is a required document. Once the final estimate package is complete, it should be sent to the Project Control section of Contract Administration. The request for release of final settlement details the final amount due, if any, and can be paid if the B&O and other taxes have been paid. The final estimate package must then be approved by the Director of Contract Administration, the Deputy State Highway Engineer, the State Highway Engineer, and the Commissioner. The approval dates are entered in the critical date list for the contract. The Finance Division reviews and approves the final estimate package and processes any final payment that is required. At the beginning of each month, the Finance Division sends the Project Control section a report indicating all contracts from the previous month whose final payments have been processed. This concludes the finalization process for the state. Additional information is available on the West Virginia Division of Highways website. This video has been created by WRA in conjunction with the West Virginia Division of Highways and the West Virginia Contractors Association. Thank you.